live.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vice Mayor Sandra Kilgore and Chair of the Board of Commissions Committee, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 11th, 2023 meeting. Our council members, committee members, and staff are participating virtually. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. We're streaming live from the Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link on the front page of the city website. We also have an option for the public to listen live by phone. And for those of you out there with us today, I'd like to say welcome. For today's meeting, we have the option for people to call in and comment live during the meeting. To call in and comment live, use the same number, 855-925-2801. Once again, it's 855-925-2801. Meeting code 9478. Your phone will be muted and you will hear this meeting live. At this point, speakers will need to push *3 to enter into the speaker queue. And at this time, I'd like to go through the roll call and introduce the members of the committee and staff who are participating virtually. Council and staff, as I say your name, please say a quick hello. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Hello.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney.
Good afternoon.
Assistant City Manager Ben Woody.
Good afternoon.
Deputy City Clerk Sarah Cross.
Good afternoon.
Assistant City Clerk Jerry Goldberg.
Off camera, but present.
Okay, and City Clerk Maggie Burleson.
Maggie won't be joining us today.
Maggie won't be joining us today. Okay. And now, so we call the meeting to order, and the first thing I'd like to do is ask if anyone would like to approve the minutes for March 14th.
I move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
Second.
Thank you. So now we'll do a roll call. Antoinette Mosley.
Aye.
Councilman Kim Rooney.
Aye.
And myself, aye. And at this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone in the speaker queue.
There's no callers of the queue.
Okay, so there's no one in the queue. Okay, at this time, we'd like to move on to the new business. And we'd like to discuss basically the April board's appointments and vacancies.
I was muted, apologies. So the first board for which there is appointments consideration is the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, and the chair and staff recommend the appointment of Charles Schreiber.
This is Kim. As liaison for the ABC board, I know we have a recommendation. I'd also like to note that Charles attended our last meeting and is a former licensee, so brings some unique experience to the table. And that's why I moved to approve the recommendation of Charles Schreiber to the ABC board.
I'll second.
Okay, great. Okay, now I'll do a roll call. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney.
Aye.
And myself, aye.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the Audit Committee. There are 2 vacancies, one of which must be a CPA, and one is at large. And the staff recommends the appointment of Nate Hathaway for the CPA position and Sandra Frempong for the at-large position.
I'll move to accept the staff recommendations of Nate Hathaway for the CPA position and Sandra Frempong for the at-large seat.
This is Kim. Second.
Okay, great. We'll do a roll call. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney.
Aye.
And myself, aye.
And then if we might pause, I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe I missed this. Did we approve the minutes? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I had that in my to-dos. Sorry for the interruption.
Next, we have the Civil Service Board, and this is a 2-year term with no limit on the number of terms someone may serve. Carol Goins, who is the current chair, is eligible and interested in reappointment. We also did not receive any new applications.
I move to reappoint Attorney Carol Goins to the Civil Service Board.
This is Kim, second.
Okay, great. Now we'll do a roll call. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney,
Aye.
and myself, aye.
All right. Next, no necessary appointment consideration, but just to advise that we will be postponing HIAC, Homeless Initiative Advisory Committee appointments, until they come back with their recommendations on the restructure based on the federal report that they have received. So that brings us to the Mountain Community Capital Fund, also a 2-year term. There are 2 vacancies. Staff liaison recommends the appointment of Carl Alguire and the appointment of John Appleby, or by, I'm not sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the staff's recommendation of John Appleby and Carl Aguirre for
Kim, second.
Please advise who seconded. I missed that.
Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to do a roll call. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney,
Aye.
and myself, aye.
All right. And last but not least, the Neighborhood Advisory Committee for the area representing 28806 and 28728 zip codes. The chair recommends the appointment of Moira Balang.
This is Kim. I'm happy to make a recommendation to the full council to appoint Moira Balang.
I'll second.
Okay, now we'll do a roll call. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kim Rooney,
Aye.
and myself, aye.
That does complete the appointments. Sandra, if you are speaking, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much, Chair. We'll move on. Okay, so Kim, I see you raise your hand. Was that what you're
I wanted to take a moment because small changes can often take a lot of work. And I just wanted to say that I noticed that there was a new process for being able to find all the applications in a new organized way. I'm not sure how much time that took, but I appreciated it. It made it a little easier for me to talk instead of having to toggle back and forth between documents. So thank you to staff for that new process. If anyone is following along and was attempting to access the applications in the old way, you'll now find them all in the document that shows who is applying. So it's all in one place. And on the far right-hand columns, you'll see there's 2, one for application and one for additional documents, like, for example, resume. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Kim, for pointing that out because I did notice that myself, and it was a lot easier and quicker to, to see and understand.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, and thank you for that feedback. We were hoping to hear that it was easier to review. So we'll probably keep this format moving forward then.
Okay. And now we'll move on to informal discussion. Basically, it'll be the update of the realignment working group. And Sarah Goss will basically give us an update on this.
Yeah, very quick update to let the committee know that the realignment working group is still meeting monthly. They're digging down on the survey analysts and working towards making recommendations. I've also linked the realignment project page here because it was recently updated to better tell the story of how this project started, the engagement that's happened, and where we're going. So I hope that it better tells the story, but also all the realignment working group information is a tab on there. So for those following along, their meeting materials and recordings are also posted on this page. That's it for that update. And then secondly, if there's no objections from the committee here, clerk's office proposes canceling the May 9th meeting. That being we won't have any appointments due to the new quarterly structure. And we don't have any agenda items as of now. So if there's no objections, the next meeting would be June 13th.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions or from the council? Okay, well, we'll see if anyone's in the speaker queue. Do you have any?
We do not have any callers in the queue.
Okay, Kim?
Thank you. I did get a question from an advisory board member, and it provided a little bit of fresh air into a conversation that we're having around demographics and who we reach out to. Is our outreach effective? One of the advisory board chairs for the transit committee, Harvey Harold, presented a question to me. Is he the first Black chair of the transit committee? And I know that for the transit committee, this example is a little different because we had a transit commission, and then we had a transit authority, and then a transit commission, and then when we created the multimodal, the transit committee got kind of like tucked underneath that. So it was like really relying on my memory, and I was like, maybe we could do a better job of communicating this, because it is certainly a cause of celebration, but it might go unnoticed if we don't have a way to document. And also know that we've just recently moved to making our PDF searchable. So there will be a lot of work involved in understanding like some of the histories and her stories of our boards and commissions. But I just wanted to amplify his question in this space as part of the public record, just because I know that we're having that conversation, and I wonder what it could look like if we, as we have time going forward, to document those demographics, but also be able to acknowledge where we've come from as well. So thank you to Harvey for presenting that question and inviting me to bring that to this group.
Sure. Thank you. May I respond?
Yes.
Yeah. So while the PDFs are searchable, still everything is tracked manually, and it's just a very time-consuming thing to do to track it. So currently, we only have an at-point-in-time demographic list. Of course, we are hoping to get some software in the near future, or when I say near, that could be a year or two, but we are working towards software that would make that much easier and to pull really at any given time. So right now that's difficult, and we can't confirm whether Harold Harvey is or is not, because we don't track the transit committee since it's not a council appointed board.
And thank you for that understanding, Jerry. I think the small but mighty step of having the PDF searchable is huge
Yes.
for folks who have low, no vision software, for translation purposes, for me as a council member being able to search documents really quickly. So thank you for that small but mighty step in our journey towards improving our processes.
Anyone else has any comments or questions? And the one thing I'd like to say before we adjourn is I know we have a lot of people that have responded or commented on the fact that we don't have more people on the boards and commissions. That is something that we need to address. The one thing that I have found out that it's going to take more than just posting applications and whatever. What we need to do are the listings for these positions. We have to have more outreach within our, as far as the community itself, and also within staff and council. I know I've been successful with reaching out to people and asking them to apply, because they really didn't realize, people that you think that would be a good fit for some of these committees, we need to, as a group, start reaching out to them and approaching them and letting them know that we think they'll be a good fit. I know for me, I've had a few people that have been appointed that I actually did do this, and it was successful. And I know Antoinette has done this too. And I think we just need to do more outreach ourselves. The individual sort of outreach is sort of better than just posting. So I was going to make that comment. So Jared?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I think for sure a direct ask from a council member is probably our most effective outreach. However, given the change in our appointment schedule, the goal at the clerk's office is to really do more targeted outreach, get before neighborhood associations, various organizations where there's expertise and community membership that we are looking for specifically for our boards. Yes. So we'll be working on that pretty aggressively, I hope, over the next few months.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're all on the same page. So
yes.
And we will be back to the committee with kind of an update of what we are doing. So looking forward to the feedback from the committee as well.
Thank you. So, any more comments or questions? If not, the meeting is adjourned.